Yeah, I'm DJ Unique, the producer of Bone Thugs and Harmony. Now the president of Bone Thug Records, the new indie label from Bone. And we try to do a couple things independently, you know what I'm saying? Keeping control, keeping this shit fun. But pretty much, just wanted to go back and reminisce on some history on how everything came about. Really, I want to start with my man Easy. Easy would always hit me like early in the morning, 7 o'clock. He was like my alarm clock, page me. His code being 187. I'd jump up and it's always like, what time you at the studio? And I'd be like, man, noon or something like that.
What's up, Busy? That nigga just together, got my niggas down there. I got my motherfucking that's out here. They keep it. About to take this shit down to the motherfucking so how they gonna put this track down. I got my niggas behind the camera. What's up, Stack? What's up, people? What's going down? My nigga Tim in the motherfucking
I remember him calling me early and just was excited, like, man, I got these cats, man, out of Cleveland, because he had just finished like a promo tour from his EP, and he stumbled across these cats and told me like to meet him up there. So I had to call the owner of the studio, like, dog, it's urgent, man, like Easy like want to get off in the studio, and it's like a little earlier than usual. So I met him up there at the studio that I used to record at called the Black Hole, which was in Hawthorne, California, a little city outside of LA. And I used to be up there recording. It was a 16 track. And I remember pulling up to the studio and Easy being there before me. That was kind of, unusual. But he was there and he had them all sitting out on like this little wall. And I'm looking at these cats like, man, they had the braids and everything. And it was just like, just hungry. And I'm looking like, man, okay. And he was just telling me, man, these cats is dope, man. I'm telling you, man, wait till, your boy get here. So anyway, what I'm saying, my man Kenny pulled up, like wondering what was happening, what I'm saying? He pulled up, and let us in the studio, and I go off into the studio and I'm playing beats. And the thing is, it's like working with Easy, what I'm saying? It's like he got a lot of groups that's kind of kicking more of the gangster style. That's more of the LA style of music, So I had a lot of tracks, like a DAT full of tracks. And I'm playing a lot of gangster beats, just hitting them with hardcore gangster shit, right? And what I'm saying? And I'm like, they not really moving. So I'm looking at E looking at me, and I'm like, man, what's happening? So they was like, man, like, we really ain't, really on that vibe right there, what I'm saying? I mean, this stuff is cool, but we really not on that vibe. So I was like, oh, okay. So one of the members, I believe was Crazy, he was like, man, he asked Easy, he turned around to Easy like, man, who did that track for, what was the group? Menage a Trois, called Cause It's Like That. He said, man, so that's the kind of vibe we on. And that was all I needed to hear, because that was a track I did for one of the groups that Easy had. So I was like, okay, so y'all on that type of vibe. That was kind of different because that was more of a smooth, laid-back vibe. So Easy took them to go get some clothes, because they fresh out here from Cleveland. They made their way down here or whatever, or he sent them down here, and they needed to get some clothes. So they was like, man, we're going to go get some clothes, and we're going to come back in a couple hours. So they left, and I stayed in the studio, and we, cranked out some tracks. I did a couple of tracks, and one of the first tracks I did was Creeping on a Come Up. That was like the very first track, and that was the name of their first EP. And they came back to the studio, and I didn't have no music playing, so I was like, oh yeah, man, I done came up with a couple things. I want y'all to check it out and tell me, is this the vibe y'all feeling? So I hit play on the drum machine. Man, they instantly just went crazy, like, dog, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So we clicked from that moment on pretty much. They were like, that's the vibe, that's us. back then we had the box, and the box was like the main thing that helped us, you know what I'm saying, get exposure. So we had the box, and we was shooting a video in Cleveland for Thuggish, Ruggish Bone when the single came out. And while we was out there, you know what I'm saying, we started going around to the stores trying to see what's in all the stores and all that. But it just started making noise, man. Everybody started catching on to it, and they became like the talk, like everywhere, you know.